What specific improvements did you see in your body through implementing these practices?
I think the most important thing that I noticed is my stress levels decreased, you know, by a great deal. Just waking up earlier. I really struggled with waking up earlier, but once I started to fix my routine a little bit and I started waking up a little bit earlier, I noticed that I have more clarity, more mental clarity. Waking up a little bit before 6 when kapha kind of comes about, I just started to feel, so much more at peace, so much more clarity. And even that little shift for me helped me with my constipation, which was my biggest problem. It was my constipation. So I noticed when I pushed my sleeping schedule to wake up before 6, my bowel movement started to regulate.
Amazing. That's
Yeah,
big.
it's
And
huge for me.
yeah, yeah, good. I'm happy to hear that. And how did your relationship with your body change through what you learned here?
I learned to listen to my body and listen to the signs and know what those signs meant. It's really intuitive to a certain extent. And the most thing that I learned, which was something that I always felt for me, was cold and how cold foods impacted my body. And so just making that switch and eating more warm cooked meals with some spices, fennel, cumin, coriander, ginger made the biggest difference for me. So I think the most important thing is it taught me how to understand my body and ultimately how to heal my body, or how to um, provide harmony with providing its opposite. It's really enlightened me in the sense of I understood my constitution, my foundation, I understood my imbalances, and I understood how to create a routine for myself that keeps me in balance. For example, before I took this course, I used to eat a lot of raw foods, damp foods, and I used to feel horrible. And I never understood why. I'm like, I'm eating all this amazing kale, all this coconut yogurt, and I feel horrible. But now that I took this course and knowing my constitution, I completely understand where that imbalance was.
And then you made those changes, right?
And I made
Around
those changes, very small, subtle changes. Started having CCFT. This is my CCFT right now with some ginger. It's honestly, it's a beautiful change.
And did you feel a shift in your digestion once you started making
I
those shifts?
did. My digestion is I'm much less bloated, much less gassy. I'm able to have a normal bowel movement, and that's huge for me. The improvement in my gut was a big factor for me. Ayurveda for me is really all about homeostasis. It's all about, going back to nature, going back to harmony, understanding your body and understanding how nature impacts your body. It's about understanding your constitution. It's about learning how to become your own healer, which is something that we mentioned in the course. And I think there's no greater value than learning how to become your own healer. And in terms of the routine, it's really the tiniest things that make an impact. For example, we talked about sipping on hot water. That's nothing. It doesn't take much time. My digestion, every single time I'm constipated, I just drink hot water and I'm gonna go. So it's just these tiny things, these tiny switches that make a huge impact. And with Ayurveda, with healing, with health, it's all about, and you mentioned this before, step by step, one at a time. If you mess up, it's okay, you're human. So I think approach this with a lot of compassion and a lot of kindness, because it's not about being perfect, it's more so about just understanding how to move forward.